U.S. Secretary of Education Miguel Cardona joining me now. Mr. Secretary, nice to have you with us.
Thank you. Great to be with you.
Well, let's just start with, are you comfortable with the pulling back of these mask mandates right now? Are you concerned that these governors are reacting to political pressure and pressure from parents?
Well, first of all, I'm really pleased that the number of Omicron cases is dropping, hospitalizations are dropping, and that it seems like the worst of this pandemic strand of Omicron is behind us. With that said, I still think we need to make sure we're following what we know works best, making sure that our health experts are having conversations with our local leaders, and I know states are removing statewide mandates, but they're allowing local boards to make decisions. So we have to have our health experts at the table, our local and state health experts, and most importantly, we have to keep our schools open. Our students cannot afford another round of disruption. Our parents can't afford that either. So let's continue to keep safety at the forefront and make sure that our health experts who know about public health and spread of virus should be at the table when making decisions about whether or not to remove masks.
So let's talk about the science and how districts should incorporate scientifically what we know within their decision to proceed and make these determinations of whether to lift a mask mandate or not. What do you think districts should follow in order to make these decisions and whether it's safe or not?
You know, again, we listen to the CDC guidance around masking. We know it works. We were at 47% of the schools fully open at the beginning of the Biden administration. We're at about 100% now because we followed those mitigation strategies. And it's really important that we take this opportunity to remind folks that the spread is less when students are vaccinated, when those who are eligible are vaccinated. And I think vaccination and testing availability must be taken into account. Community spread must be taken into account before making decisions about removing mitigation strategies that keep our kids in school, keeps our schools staffed. It's also important to remember that children under the age of 5 are not yet eligible for vaccination, and many of our educators have children under the age of 5 that they go home to. So I'm really pleased that the numbers are getting better, but I still say we need to proceed with caution and make sure that our health experts are at the table when we're making decisions.
Do you think masks hinder kids learning?
You know what hinders kids learning? Being quarantined because they have COVID, or not having a teacher because their teacher has COVID. Listen, there's a lot of fatigue with COVID. I too am tired of wearing masks. I know my high school age children are tired of wearing masks, but they also realize that they'll wear the masks so that they could take part in extracurricular activities after school, so that they could see their teachers, they could see their friends. Yes, they're tired of wearing masks, but at the end of the day, they would prefer to wear masks and be in school than have to quarantine like they did in previous years.
You know, you talk to the teachers' unions. What are teachers telling you at local school districts about rolling back mask requirements?
You know, it runs the gamut, just like our country. We have people that are very passionate about what they believe, and I think it's an opportunity for us, as we are pleased to see the numbers go down, we have to remember to engage the perspectives of different parents, of teachers. And what I'm hearing from educators is that they want to just make sure that their work environment is safe for their students so that they can meet the needs of their students. But they also understand that, you know, this pandemic has taken a toll, and that we're ready to move forward. But we can only do so if we protect our students and our staff, including the students that are not yet in our schools, the little ones that parents are going back home to.
Well, you know, throughout the Omicron surge, and even prior to that, we have been telling our viewers all the stories of districts that are suffering with staffing shortages, both in teaching roles and just having enough people to drive the school bus. So what do school districts need to be doing right now to keep staff from leaving? Because, as you know, there are many teachers and staff threatening to quit as we speak, and that's not what we need right now for our kids.
You know, it's been tough to be an educator these last couple of years, not only because of the changes that they've had to experience in terms of being in person on one day and now being fully remote the next, but they've been under a lot of pressure and a lot of, you know, and there's strong feelings in the community. Oftentimes teachers are being blamed if schools are not open. the first thing we need to do is make sure that our schools are safe for them to work. We also have to honor and respect our educators and our leaders who have very difficult decisions. I was listening to the superintendent right before I spoke, and the superintendent went to school to lead students and educators, not to deal with a pandemic. As he mentioned, he's not a medical expert. We have to have confidence that our educators are trying to keep children safe and keep themselves safe as well. So I think part of it is ensuring that how we think about reopening schools shouldn't be limited to opening the doors. Now with the American Rescue Plan, there are funds to provide incentives, bonuses for those positions that are historically underpaid, and like our bus drivers who do so much work, our cafeteria, food service professionals who do so much for our students. We really need to be thinking about how we're paying them a decent salary to stay in the jobs when they have options, and ensuring that our teachers, number one, feel safe, are well compensated, but also have the support of a safe working environment and are listened to when decisions about reopening are being made. I think that's how we address some of the shortages, and that's how we honor the educators that are serving our students.
Well, I think nobody would argue that teachers should be paid more. I come from a family of teachers. I watched how hard they worked and how little they made. And it's frustrating because we really do need to invest in our teachers. And, it's not just teachers who have been under tremendous stress. We also know this pandemic has had a huge impact on our children's mental health. How are you going to provide our nation's schools with the support that they will need, short and long term, Mr. Secretary?
We have an opportunity, yes, this is a crisis, but we have an opportunity now to really reimagine what it looks like to provide supports for our students and our families. I don't have to remind you that 140,000 students across the country are coming back to school having lost a parent or caregiver due to COVID. So our kids need more now than ever. Many of our students are dysregulated. We need to make sure that in our schools we have appropriate supports for whatever the needs are of our students, whether they're access to mental health supports, food insecurities, in addition to the focus that we need to have on the academics. Our students have a lot of missed instruction, and we have to accelerate the recovery and make sure that they have access to high-quality instruction at a greater pace because they missed out on so much. That's what I'm hearing from parents. Our students need us now more than ever, and it's really our moment to step up, level up education, and reimagine it better than ever before.
Well, we're counting on you to do that, that's for sure. Secretary Cardona, appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.